Have you ever wondered what happens in the background of Fishbowl? When you receive a purchase order, or when you click issue on a sales order, or when you finish a pick or ship something out, how does Fishbowl track all that? I'm Lance with Brando Consulting, Fishbowl expert since 2006. In this video, we're going to review what I call the central calculations. So we have a part up, this is a spring, and it says the quantity on hand is 1,937. That means you own it. That's what's on the balance sheet. If this is an inventory type part, which it is, it says inventory type part, then it's going to have a quantity, and whatever that quantity is going to show up on your balance sheet multiplied by your average cost or your standard cost, right? Whatever your calculation is. Then allocated is what's on demand. You'll see here when I hover over it, it gives me a little pop-up. And it says we have 1,000 allocated to a sales order. But what does that mean? That means the sales order is issued. It could mean it's in progress. But it's someplace between issued and shipped, right? It means it's on demand, and at some point your inventory is going to decrease by the amount shown next to sales order. Same thing is on the work order. It says 18 are raw goods on a work order, and they're allocated to be decreased at some point. And then on a transfer order, it says at some point 294 are going to decrease. And then what's this available for sale right here? This is a calculation. This is your quantity on hand, subtract your quantity allocated, subtract your quantity not available, plus drop ship. And that's how Fishbowl calculates what is available to consume in a work order, or available to ship on a transfer order, or available to sell on a sales order. Okay? So that's a calculation. And this is actually the number Fishbowl looks at when you add a new product to a sales order. If you don't have anything on this, if this is a 0, then you'll get that little pop-up on the sales order. Okay, on order. This is your quantity that's coming in. Notice we've got 294 on order from a transfer order. Now, if you only have one warehouse, this isn't going to make any sense. But to those of you that have more than one warehouse, this makes a lot of sense. Quantity will increase in one warehouse, but it will decrease in another warehouse. To really see this, there's a tiny little info button right here. Click on that, and you'll actually see the breakdown of these exact same quantities in a different format, separated by location group. So notice on hand, the total is 1,937, but then we've got it broken out here. Each location group has its own quantity allocated, etc. Nice little button over there on the right. Once again, it's right there. And you'll actually be able to access this from the sales order screen as well. Okay, committed. That means you've picked it, or you've clicked a button on the pick screen called commit. It looks like a little lock icon. Quantity short is a positive number if the available for sale would go into the negative. All right, so Fishbowl doesn't allow you to go into the negative. Hooray! This is the short quantity right here. Okay, then of course we've got these reorder points. So follow me on this exercise. After this video, try this yourself. What I'm going to do is I'm going to put this part on a sales order, and we'll come back and forth and look at these numbers, and you'll see what happens when as the sales order progresses, and then we'll buy it, and you'll see what happens as the purchase order progresses as Fishbowl goes through. So let's start out with the old sales order. We'll go sales order, click new, grab someone, and we'll put 100 springs on the sales order. And right off, we get this pop-up that says we don't have enough. Now look at this little info balloon. That looks familiar, doesn't it? Click on that, and we can see right off the bat why it's saying we don't have enough. Notice we have 1,937 on hand. And hey, we've got 625 available. but we're selling it from the middle filled warehouse. So if we click on the middle filled warehouse and look at the quantity available, look at that, we're short. Stretch that out, available for sale is 0 and short is 512. Okay, so we'll go ahead and add it anyway. This is fun. So we'll click save. That's an estimate. And if we come back here on these numbers, if we refresh, nothing happens yet. But then when we click issue and go back to that part, watch these numbers when I click refresh. Now we've got a higher number allocated, and this changes as well. We have a higher number that is short. So we've got a couple of choices. One, we can reach out to other warehouse and say, give us some more inventory. Or we can reach out to our vendor and say, we want to buy inventory. Let's reach out to our vendor since we already have a transfer order awaiting to come in. We'll go to purchasing, click new. Anderson Hardware is our vendor for this. We'll say, give us 1,000. Give us 1,000 springs. And click save. Come back to the part. Look at these numbers again. Now this is going to affect the on order number as soon as we issue the purchase order. So we'll come back here, click issue, and notice this number is going to update as soon as I click refresh. There we go. And then this number back here is going to change for the warehouse we issued the purchase order against, which I didn't pay very close attention. I just issued a purchase order for middle filled. Oh yeah, it was middle filled we needed. No, we're good. We're good. So this purchase order is purchasing for middle filled, and that's good. All right. So then we go to receiving. We receive this in, and it's receiving into middle filled. We'll click receive, then go back to the part screen and take a look at what we just did. So on order is currently 1,294. That's going to go down because we just received it. And then on hand is going to go up because we just received it. Let's click refresh. Just like magic. There we go. And that's all in middle filled. So we're gonna see the numbers change in the middle filled location group. So now, all right, we've got available for sale 388. So now we can go to the sales order and to the pick, and we'll see that this is green and we can pick it. Notice over here on the part, there's a quantity for available to pick. This is your quantity on hand. Subtract the quantity committed. Remember, committed just means it's either been picked or you've clicked the commit button. And then once again, since we're in a middle filled order, we'll see available to pick is 1,000, and that's 1,800, subtract 800. Okay, so let's play with this button. I'm going to click commit, come back over to picking. You'll see it says 1,008 is committed. Refresh, and now he's got 1,108. So that's committed. Let's void the pick and click finish. Now that does the same thing, except it moves the inventory. Committing doesn't move it anywhere, but finishing moves it and commits it. So now when we go back to the part screen and refresh, we'll see committed is still what it was before because we just voided it and then finished it. Okay, now pay attention to quantity on hand and let's go ship it. We'll go back to picking. It's been picked. We'll go to shipping, and here we are. It hasn't been packed yet. Let's go ahead and pack it. If you're wondering if packing does anything, it doesn't. Does nothing here at all. Click refresh. See, nothing changes with packing. But then once we ship it out the door, there it goes. See you later, gone. Once we ship it out the door, then we'll see the quantity committed decrease. We shipped 100, so that's going to go down. Quantity on hand is going to go down, and allocated is going to go down. Watch. Bloom, bloom, bloom. Down, down, down. So there you go. We just created a sales order, issued it. We created a purchase order and received it. We picked and committed, and we shipped out the door. So you try it. You can do this with the work order, with the purchase order, but I think this is really enlightening, this exercise, watching the numbers change as you progress. Make sure to watch the video on reorder points and the video on purchasing as well, because those all tie in to this.